Growing up in an abusive household, I could not study much. My parents were physically and emotionally abusive towards me, so my main goal throughout my childhood was to survive. Once I was able to work, I worked as much as possible. My education was never a priority because I was too busy making ends meet. This continued for a few years until I was of legal age and I was finally able to leave home. After leaving my parents' house, I worked all the time and lived in a crappy place and ate crappy food. College was always out of the question. It was an unthinkable thought. It was totally out of context. I met my husband while waiting tables. He was one of the regulars in the restaurant. He was not really that bad, but he and his family were like those high-class, rich, bougie people. They were really proud of the fact that they were rich and hated mixing up with people whom they considered poor. When my husband announced that he would marry me, his family opposed it. They would tell him that he could do better than me. He deserved someone more accomplished, someone who would be able to accompany him to all the family gatherings. After trying to convince his family a lot, they finally gave in. They finally agreed to let us get married. After we got married, Aiden, my husband, asked me to quit all my jobs. I did not mind and ended up quitting all the jobs that I was working at that time. Our marriage was great for the first 3 years. After about 3 years, Aiden changed. He would always get angry all the time. Even the slightest thing could piss him off. He also started looking down on me. He would often point out that the way I talked, the way I dressed, or the food that I ate made me look poor. Things started escalating. He often said he could not take me to parties and other events like his colleagues because he was too embarrassed. Also, I could not conceive a child even after being married for 3 years, and his parents hated me for that. They wanted a grandchild, but I was unable to give them one. With Aiden not backing me up, I would often feel suffocated. Things got even worse when I came to know that Aiden was cheating on me and his girlfriend was already pregnant. I tried to talk him about it, but he refused and threw the divorce papers in my face. I told him that I was not going to sign them. This caused a fight between us. According to him, his girlfriend was from a nice family and had a good job. The way she dressed, the food she ate, and the way she presented herself, everything about her was elegant and classy. She could also fulfill his parents' dreams of having grandkids. She was way better than me in every aspect. He also said that he could not deal with my traumas anymore. My abusive past and few other abusive relationships had traumatized me for a long time. He said that he was tired and annoyed of being in a relationship with me. After fighting for almost about a week, I finally decided to sign the paper. As soon as I told my husband I was going to sign the papers, he said that I would get no share in any of his belongings. He also asked me to work for his new family. He said that his wife was pregnant and he did not want to take any risks. He didn't forget to mention that no one would give me a job as I was just a high school graduate, so it was better for me to work for him and his new family. I started laughing hysterically. It seemed so funny to me. He kept bragging about his soon-to-be wife, but then cheated on her behind her back. I found it really funny. He thought he could just leave me and I was going to let him. I started laughing and told him to call his future wife once to see if she was still willing to marry him. He started panicking. He called his soon-to-be wife, and she was furious. She started yelling at him. At the same time, his parents also barged into the house and started yelling at him for cheating on their soon-to-be daughter-in-law. It was such a mess. It was amusing to see him turn into a little boy who got caught stealing cookies from the cookie jar. At that same time, I told him I would divorce him and left. I have been busy these days, so I haven't been able to give you all a proper update on how things have been recently. So, I am finally divorced. Even though my ex-husband told me that I was not going to get anything, I ended up getting a house and a few $1,000,000. I could not help but find it hilarious. Throughout the whole trial, my ex-husband looked like a lost puppy. He was so dependent on his parents that they were present at every trial. It was hilarious to watch him. Recently, I have decided to go to college with whatever money I got after the divorce. Also, according to what I heard, my ex-husband's girlfriend was going to leave him as she did not want to spend her life with a cheater. She decided to raise the child separately, but the father and grandparents had the right to visit the child whenever they pleased. You all seem so interested in this whole thing. LOL. Anyways, Many of you wanted to know how I got the recording of my husband cheating. So, like I already said before, I worked many jobs to make ends meet. I came to know a lot of people who were in a similar situation. They either ran away from home, had terrible parents, did not have enough money, did not go to college, and all sorts of problems led them to work multiple jobs. We had a network among ourselves. We would help each other out and ask for help whenever we needed it. So some of the people who worked at the club saw my husband. They called me and asked what I was going to do. I asked them to get a recording. That was how I received the recording of my husband sleeping around. Even though these people are not someone you would hang out with or go on trips with, they are the ones who would help you when you are in a bad situation, once you are one of them. They are very understanding and caring. Because we have all been through similar situations, we can empathize with one another and help each other out. As for now, I have decided to take the SAT and get into a good college. I am really proud to have gotten this far. I have moved out of my husband's place and moved into an apartment. I had some savings, and I also got a job recently, so I have enough money. I have decided to use the money I got after the divorce to pay for my college. I have not yet thought of what I want to do with the house that I got. I am not really thinking about selling it right now, but maybe later. But I am sure I don't want to stay there. I also have been feeling guilty recently. You see, a few days ago I met a friend of mine. She said that I was being selfish by showing the recording of my ex-husband fooling around to his girlfriend. She said that my lack of self-control and my desire for revenge was the reason why the little baby would not have a family anymore. I mean, yeah, sure. I really wanted to destroy everything that my ex-husband had the moment I came to know that he was going to divorce me and was cheating on me. It was devastating. Also, as much as I would like to lie, the mother and the child both had the right to know that her married boyfriend was cheating on her with many other women. I know it just sounds like I'm trying to justify my actions. Maybe I am, but would also want people to tell that my husband is cheating on me if they knew about it. But yeah, revenge was definitely the biggest reason for exposing my ex-husband. I mean, how would anyone feel if your ex-husband told you to work for his new family after he divorced you? Anybody would be angry. Am I an a-hole for sabotaging my ex-husband's new family? I cannot help but feel guilty for what I did, after my friend put it from that point of view. In my last update, I felt guilty about sabotaging my ex-husband's new family, especially because his girlfriend was pregnant. After going through all your lovely comments, I was really comforted. I was thrilled to see so many of you supporting me and telling me not to feel guilty. Thank you, everyone, for your kind and comforting words. You all really made me feel better about myself, and I cannot be grateful enough. At first, I felt terrible for destroying that innocent child's family, but now I am doing just fine. As for my life, it is okay. I got into an excellent college. The classes are going great, and my teachers are also lovely. I have made some friends. For the first time in my life, I am feeling quite normal. Not the a-hole. No, you are doing fine. You don't have to feel guilty about it. I understand why you're feeling guilty. I also know that what you did was with the purpose of revenge, but then again, aren't we all selfish? No one is truly selfless. That is how we all survive, by taking care of ourselves. You don't have to feel guilty for exposing your husband. Not the a-hole. No, you are not the a-hole. You did the right thing by exposing your ex-husband to his girlfriend. I too would want to know if my husband was cheating on me. I would hate being in the dark about all his affairs. You did the right thing by exposing him. Not the a-hole. I know that you did it out of revenge, but it does not mean that you have to be guilty about it. It was not really nice of your friend to guilt trip you that way. Instead of helping you to do better in life, she made you feel guilty about something that was not wrong. She is being really manipulative here. You did the right thing by exposing your ex-husband, and by keeping quiet about it. You are also taking part in his offenses. If I were you, I would have done the same thing. Don't blame yourself. My 36 female mother, 57 female, who I will call Melanie, and I have not had a good relationship for most of my life. She was very narcissistic and abusive. I have learned that the abuse I suffered is called parentification, where our roles were reversed, and I ended up raising her and my siblings instead of having a true childhood. It was so bad that I ended up moving to another state on my own 3 days after graduating high school. Melanie has said and done so many unforgivable things to me that I have purposely kept her at arm's length most of my adult life. I felt I had to do this as my siblings all still have a relationship with her, and I'm the only one that suffered the full extent of her abuse. Now the part where I may be the a-hole, about 6 weeks ago, Melanie called and said that she has cancer. 3 days ago on a Tuesday, she called and said that she's being evicted on Friday, and to quote her, she's loading up a truck and driving to my house, and she and Devin are moving into my house. She does not ask, just tells me that she's moving into my house a full state away. Did I mention that I was flying across the country for a 10-day vacation on that Saturday and wouldn't be home when she was moving in? She also intended to bring Devin, her married roommate of the last 8 years. I talked to my husband and we decided that she is not welcome in our house. On Thursday, I find out in a conversation with her that her cancer announcement was fake. Friday comes and she is in the moving truck talking to my siblings. I refuse to join the call due to my anger about her faking cancer. She says to them that she doesn't care what I say, that she is moving in whether I like it or not, because I owe her. Both of my siblings call me and let me know what she's saying. The next morning I have had enough and send Melanie a message stating that I am going no contact and reiterating that she is not welcome in my house, and if she breaks in while I am gone, that I will have her arrested. She drives all the way to my house and speaks to the church in my area and gets them to cover a few nights at a hotel for her and unloads the truck into a storage unit. All while telling anyone who will listen how it is my fault that she's homeless. I have had multiple calls from both distant family and strangers berating me for not taking her in. After a few days, she went to stay with a cousin in another state. She just left her stuff in a storage unit by my house and just drove to her cousin's. I didn't even get home from my vacation until after she left for her cousin's. I am staying firm with my no contact decision, so am I the a-hole? I didn't let my abusive mother and her roommate move into my house, leaving them homeless. Not the a-hole, and good for you. Now hold strong. The fact that you even have to wonder shows how badly she effed you up, and you should be super proud of yourself. If it was me, I would have a Ring doorbell set up and call 911 if she shows up. Having her ass arrested would be totally appropriate. Faking cancer, she's evil. You owe her less than nothing. Keep up with therapy and congratulations on a job well done. Not the a-hole. At first, when I read that she had cancer, I was thinking that you should maybe try to work things out with her in order to not have regrets later on. Her faking cancer, though, is terrible and almost psychopathic behavior. With her kind of story, I understand why you wouldn't want her there, and there is nothing wrong with that. It is your house, and she can't assume that she can just move in, especially with her boyfriend as well. In terms of your siblings, would you ever want to try and get them out of the situation? I hate the thought of them living with that, especially with her story of abuse. Not the a-hole at all, not even a little bit. She's a grown woman that does not have cancer in a relationship with another grown-up that does not have cancer, and they can figure out how to support and shelter themselves. If strangers from church call you again, you should write a Google review on their church that they like to harass victims of abuse for not taking in their abuser. Do not let her into your home once. Get cameras if you don't have them. Document all of the calls and texts so you can hopefully file for a restraining order against her. So I, 25 female, love to crochet, especially blankets, but since most of my family and friends already got several blankets I've made, I pretty much jump on every opportunity to give someone as a self-made blanket. So when one of my co-workers told us she's pregnant, I pretty much immediately started working on a baby blanket for her. The baby is due in a few weeks, and my co-worker started collecting money and putting together a baby gift for her. I contributed money to that gift as well, but didn't put my blanket in there. I had already wrapped it and written a card with care instructions and everything, ready to gift it to her. To be honest, I didn't even think about putting it in the communal gift. I don't really know why, just didn't come to mind. So today was the last day of my coworker being in the office, and in the morning, everyone got together and gave her the gift they put together. I didn't want to give her my gift then as well, since I felt it would have been weird to be like, oh, and here's one just from me. So I waited till we went out to get lunch and gave it to her then. She was super happy about both gifts, and after lunch, she wrote an email to the whole team thanking them for being so thoughtful and nice, and she attached a pic of the gift basket as well as the blanket. So that's kinda how my other coworkers found out about the blanket. It was a pretty weird afternoon after that. They all kinda avoided me and gave me weird looks until I confronted them about it, asking why they're being so weird, and they pretty much told me that they felt like I wanted to undo their gift and that it was weird that we agreed on a communal gift and I made her a blanket anyways. I told them that I was sorry and it was not at all my intention and that I've been working on the blanket ever since she told us she's pregnant and didn't know that it was expected to only give her the communal gift and nothing else. They said it was a pretty shitty move from me, but that it's too late to change it anyways and to just stick to the communal gift next time, or put my gift in the basket as well. To be honest, I don't really get it, but I'm pretty new to the whole baby gifting thing, since this is the first time someone close to me is pregnant. Was that a shitty thing to do? Me and my coworker aren't really super close, like we're just work friends. Was it too much? I'm really not sure. Is there like a rule book or something? So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I see nothing wrong with what you did, or how you gave it to her. I would have done exactly the same. I have also seen similar things given this way between friendly coworkers at our office, separate from office gifts. You did nothing wrong. Your coworkers are just odd, and must think more of their own optics rather than looking out for the honoree. Shame on them. Not the a-hole. The gift had nothing to do with anyone else, only you and the mom-to-be. My mom crocheted a baby blanket for one of my coworkers a very long time ago, and when I met her as an adult, I was introduced as, "This is the one who gave you your yellow blanket." 20 years later, it was still appreciated, judging by the tight hug I got. It's a lovely gift that had nothing to do with the group gift, that came from your heart. Don't let anyone shit on your thoughtfulness. Not the a-hole. There are no rules. Your coworkers need to stop being petty. Not sure if this is a jealousy issue or something else, but you did an incredibly nice thing for your coworker. My grandmother made quilts and blankets for everyone in the family, and that takes time and care. You were doing something nice, and I'm sure the mother-to-be appreciates it. Definitely not the a-hole.